Hey, what's up everyone? This is Hitmon Mike. Welcome back to the channel. So today's video is just gonna go over the next batch of cards that myself and a few friends are gonna send to PSA. I did one about last month and it's still in the assembly stage. It received over at PSA on June 20th and it didn't get put into the system until July 2nd. So it's gonna be a while. The estimation for that submission to come back is going to be, I think it's October 3rd. So we're gonna see if PSA is accurate with that. Hopefully sooner, probably not though. I wonder what's going on, if they're hiring more employees. I guess that could be a good thing to speed things up, but it could also be a bad thing because they're less likely to be experienced and we're gonna get some wonky grades back. But I think I did pretty well evaluating my cards and my friends, and I think I gave accurate predictions in the last one. So let's get into the next video. As you can see, we have the Pokemon Center Elite Trainer box for Black Bolt. Wasn't able to get White Flare because during the time of the pre-order, I was at work actually, and I was able to get this one, and I was a little afraid to try to add the second one, the White Flare, into the cart at the same time. So I just like secured the Black Bolt because that's the one I wanted most. But when I went back to go ahead and get White Flare, I put in the cart, was entering my card details, and then boom, it just kicked me out. So I was only able to get this. We're not gonna open this. I think this one I'm gonna keep sealed. I've been really lacking on English product over the past year for a variety of reasons. But I do have the inkling to get back into English Modern. It is fun, but right now it's really tough because of the prices. Like, I mean, I could buy stuff, but I just think it's just bad value at this point. So I'm gonna wait probably a little longer. I'm gonna wait it out. I don't think it'll be this high forever, but who knows? Anyways, guys, so here are a few other cards that I picked up from the card show, from the Spotlight card show. These ones I got these two from the same vendor, knocked some of the price off, and then my childhood in a card, as I mentioned in that video. The Ethan's Adventure, we got Cyndaquil, Slugma, Pichu. Did anyone catch the announcement of the Pichu and Surfetched little animated series that's gonna come out in 2027? Looks pretty cool. I'm excited for that. Yeah, that reminds me of all the announcements that Pokemon made. I'm recording this on Wednesday, the 23rd, and so Tuesday the 22nd of July, yesterday, they made all those announcements. How do you guys feel about the Mega Dragonite? My initial thoughts is I'm not really a fan of it, but it is what it is. It'll probably grow on me. And then I am considering throwing these into the submission. I'm not sure yet. Let's take a look at these first. So the Glaceon, I think, has a pretty good chance at a 10. Part of me wants to just keep it in the binder because my binder is a little thin because I have sold a lot of stuff to get some vintage slabs. But yeah, my goal is to get PSA 10s of the Evolutions from Terrestrial Festival. I think this will go in as a 10. The Jolteon, I think it's a little bit more thick on the left, but it could be minuscule, the difference. The top seems a little heavier than the bottom. Yeah, I didn't see anything on the back. I checked the surface, should be good. The one card I'm worried about with Evolutions is the Sylveon. The top is actually, now that I checked it the other day, it is a little bit more noticeable. It is thicker on the top. I'm worried that it would get a 9. I mean, it wouldn't be the end of the world, but I'm not sure if I can just sell this at another, or trade this at a card show to get something else, but I'm still debating. Like I mentioned, it's Wednesday. I'm probably not going to send these out until Friday. So I'm going to give it some more thought. But let's get into the rest of the cards. So I have a huge stack here. A lot of good stuff. So let's take a look at each thing that I'm sending. Okay, so I'm only going to send 3 cards from my personal collection. Aside from the Evolutions that I'm considering, it might be a little bit more. But the first card I want to take a look at is the Unigaba Pikachu. I bought this. This came out in what, 2021? I feel like I know I got it in 2022. I got it like a year later. I got this for 18 bucks, and I think now it's like 70. So I did pretty well on this. Yeah, guys, right now, like Pokemon values are through the roof. There's not a lot of things that are like great value. There's still opportunities in my opinion. But you just like, once things die down, just buy stuff, hold on to it for a while. It'll appreciate, especially if you like good stuff. I consider myself as someone with pretty good taste, not to toot my own horn, but yeah. So I got this. It has appreciated. I think the centering is off though. I don't know if you guys agree with me. I would say it's a little bit thinner on the left. I checked the surface before putting it into the card saver. I could not see any scratches, even the faint ones. I took a look, close look. The back looks fine. I'm gonna say though, I'm gonna predict that this gets a 9. I'm gonna be on the safe side, just because the right side is a little thicker. It's still worth it for me to send it as a, even if it's a 9. But hoping for the 10, so we'll go with that. So PSA 9 for my prediction. Oh, shout out to my little Totodile. Of course, he's gonna be in my videos more often. I have here the Palkia V-Star. So in a prior video, like 2 weeks ago, I said that I was gonna sell some stuff, and part of it was my Giratina, which had a little bit of edge wear that was gonna prevent it from getting the 10, and then the Dialga. The Dialga had like a random like black spot like underneath like the Pokeball, like somewhere right here. So I sold those two and was able to convert those to other cards. So these ones I feel like are going to be 10. So I have the Palkia, I have the Arceus, and I did buy the PSA 10 of the Giratina. I thought it was a really good deal. Got it on eBay about a week ago. It just came in earlier this week, so happy I got that. So I want to get these in a 10. I'm going to be on the lookout for a Dialga PSA 10. Might as well, because the PSA 10s of these guys are like pretty cheap. I think Japanese Sword and Shield PSA 10s, I think that they're a good buy right now, and that once Japanese cards hit their, you know, cycle part of the boom, I think those ones will go up because they're super cool cards, highly sought after. I know English Sword and Shield has some cards that are pretty undervalued in my opinion relative to like the Scarlet and Violet era, and XY's going up, tag team Sun and Moons are going up. I feel like Sword and Shield alternate arts are primed for another movement towards how do I want to say it, not the moon, but there's some upward movement in their future in my opinion. So definitely going to send these. I think these will get 10s. I think these are slam dunk 10s, but we shall see. All right, so now let's get into my friends. There's 2 friends in here that I'm grading cards for. I will let you know. Well, actually, I think this stack is Guillermo's. So let me go ahead and pull out each card individually. I don't want to spoil the next card, but we got the Jesus Nativity Scene card of Mew. So this one's from Karan Zenith. I have this one in V-Star Universe. Beautiful card, gorgeous. Love that. I love when Pokemon puts so many different Pokemon in the scene. You even got, I think, Barraskewda in the bottom here. Never really noticed that. Got the 2 Nidorans, Squovit, Galarian Ponytail is pretty cool. I think it's Ribbon Bee or Cutie Fly. Got Cramorant, Rookidee. Awesome card. I think Mew's taking a nap after, I think it's eating a pear? I don't know. But let's take a look at this. Center in the front looks pretty good. Yeah, I think I see the tiniest of whitening on the top left corner. I'm going to put it in the black background here so you can take a better look. I think there's a little something here on the bottom left as well. If I had to guess, I'm going to say a PSA 9. Okay. But I think it's still worth it to send this. Next card up, we have Cynthia's Garchomp. So in the last submission, I submitted a Japanese version for one of my friends who pulled it from some random loose packs at a card shop in Little Tokyo in LA. So shout out to him. So for Guillermo, he's got a pretty well centered, I would say, you know, slightly left thicker, or thicker on the left. Not egregious by any means. And the back looks pretty clean. Yeah, you can see a little bit of a difference in the centering on the left to right ratio, but I think it's within the parameters that PSA has. I think a strict grader, because you know it's all subjective, a strict grader will give this a 9. I think on average this would probably, I think this is a toss-up, to be honest. I'm gonna be on the optimistic side and give it a 10, but we'll see what PSA thinks. All right, so this is another cool story for my friend Guillermo. He was able to find, I believe it was a box, or he had a tin, an old tin in a box at his mom's house. It's like the typical Reddit story. I found this like vintage collection at my mom's house or my grandma's house. This literally happened. I can verify it. And he had some EX era cards. Like, they're not gonna get 10s, but they're still worth grading, and they're freaking awesome. We have the first one, a reverse holo Team Rocket Returns Dark Dragonite. I'm not sure if this one comes in the theme deck. I forgot. There's like different variants. I know one of them. This probably is one you pulled from the set because it's a reverse holo. But I just love the logo stamps, the set stamps. Like, they're awesome. Which is why I'm a fan of the pre-release promos from you know, starting from XY era. Really cool cards with the stamp. I'm a sucker for a stamp. Yeah, so let's take a look. So I haven't assessed the surface wear. So these predictions are going to be, you know, absent an evaluation of the surface. I don't really want to take these out. I'm going to go off of what I see on the edges and all that. So we got some gnarly edge wear here on the top right corner. I think that's pretty visible there. Tiny bit here. Can't really say much about the holo because, you know, sometimes, excuse me, oof, can't speak. You'll see scratches, but it's probably from the card saber. And I think just the edge wear, based on what I've seen from cards that I've gotten similar condition, I think this is gonna get a 7. I think on the high side we could get an 8, but I'm gonna predict PSA 7 for this. But still a dope card to have. It's from a childhood collection. You know, can't ask for anything more than that. Okay, and so we're gonna double it up with a regular holo Dark Dragonite from the same set, just minus the set stamp. It's got some silvering here on the bottom left. I don't know if you can tell with the camera. Yeah, you can see it there. A little bit of edge wear that I noticed here. Let's take a look at the back. The back is a little cleaner. I'm gonna also give this a 7. Potential for an 8, but I think this will get a 7 as well. But I mean, with harder to find cards, the lower grades are a little bit more forgivable in terms of price, but I don't think he's grading it for value per se. Next card, we have a heater right here, or a banger, however you want to describe it. We got something huge here. We got the Mewtwo EX holo from the same set, Team Rocket Returns. I mean, how it doesn't get any cooler than this. He still has this. I can't, speaking of which, from the EX era, I have another video coming up soon. As soon as it ships back in, I'm gonna show off another little mini PSA return from this era with some amazing cards for a friend of mine that had it in his collection as a kid. Anyways, let's get back to this beauty of a Mewtwo. Pretty cool. The back, it's got some edge wear. I think they are gonna give this a 7 as well, just based on edge wear. Can't tell if there's any dents or anything. Again, when I make a video for the return, if it gets lower grades, feel free to, you know, roast me in the chat. But I didn't take these out to look at the surface. I trust that my friend did, so I'm gonna say 7 for this as well. Okay, next card. This one, I feel like it's still undervalued, guys, for what it is. Okay, so it's a Espeon full art. I mean, I love Umbreon too, guys, but the Umbreon full art from Fates Collide, or this one's actually from Breakpoint, sorry. But from that same era, the Umbreon is like so much more valuable in terms of, you know, money. But this Espeon is awesome too. It's beautiful. I would say it's very thin on the left compared to the right here. Yeah, thick on the top. I'm gonna say, just based on centering alone, I'm gonna give this an 8. I think this is gonna come back a PSA 8 based on my experience. Again, it's subjective. I feel like you should be able to like see a card and kind of like give the margin of error of like 1 up or 1 down. So like, I think this is an 8. It's possible it could get a 7. I doubt it though, because there's no additional flaws of this card aside from centering. But I could also see it getting a 9. So in that range, but I'm gonna give this an 8. So let's see what happens here. Speaking of cards that have been going crazy, what about this one from Generation? I slept on this card for so long, but every time I encountered one, I could never find one mint. But you know, back then I probably should have picked up a 9, maybe even a 10, but 10s were always pricey for this since I got back into the hobby. The Pika Pile, this is a beautiful card. I don't see much. Yeah, a few little white specks here and there on the corners. I think this is a slam dunk 9. You could get lucky, get a 10, depending on the grader, but I'm gonna give this a 9. That's my prediction here. Okay, so let's get back to the Evolutions. A top tier set, Hidden Fates. The centering looks pretty clean. I noticed I feel like there's like a slight tilt. I don't know if you guys can see, maybe I'm crazy, but I was always afraid of sending cards that I perceived to have like a little tilt of the borders. But I've sent them in and I've gotten 10, so I don't think that's gonna be an issue here. The back is clean. No corner damage. If you see like a speck here, like on camera, it could be glare, the glare. But in person, I really don't see. It's pretty spotless. I think this is going to be a slam dunk 10 in my opinion. So I predict this will get a 10. Back to the childhood 10. This is the 2009, so Diamond and Pearl era. So this is when Lucario first came out. This is not his debut card. Not sure what set this is. I don't know if it's like, what was it? Majestic Dawn, Mysterious Treasures. It's not Stormfront, but it's one of those sets. I want to say Majestic Dawn or Mysterious Treasures. But anyways, this Lucario looks good. It's a reverse holo. Those are always tough to grade because they have more surface area, susceptible for scratching. Got some edge wear here. I think it's pretty clean otherwise. I'm gonna give this an 8. This is gonna get a PSA 8. And then he has 2 more cards from this deck. He actually has more on the bottom of the other stack because he just gave me an updated stack. So let's go through this real quick. I'm gonna show you the Mew here. Oh, it's stuck here. So Paldean Fates. Paldean Fates, I can't believe how expensive the set is. It's pretty crazy, but it's pretty cool. It's an awesome set. This is, I know full arts aren't super popular, but Mew is as good as it gets. Mew's a really good looking shiny. I love the blue. I think there's a little bit of whitening here. Since they've been tougher on grading with their standards, I'm going to give this a 9, but we'll see. And then we got the promo card. I sold mine. I used it towards my PSA 10 Giratina V-Star. And so this one has really good centering. And I think the price has been manipulated on the PSA 10. I don't think that crazy sale went through, but still pretty sought after still. Still worth grading. I think the centering is a little off on the back. Let's take a look here. A little bit more thick on the left, but again, the back they're less strict on. The front looks good. I'm going to give this a PSA 10. Okay. And so I have another buddy of mine that has the English Arceus V-Star. So this is my other friend. Gonna grade this. He told me he just wanted graded. If it doesn't get a 10, it's not the end of the world for him. So I'm like, all right. So it's got a tiny speck on the top left, tiny one on the bottom right. I think you can get away with 1, but 2, I'm gonna give this a PSA 9. Okay. Then he also has the Gardevoir EX back from Paldean Fates. And centering looks good. I don't see any issues with the front. The left is slightly thicker in my opinion. Yeah. And on the back, don't really see any issues. The tiniest of specks on the bottom right, but don't think that's enough to bring it down. I think this is gonna get a 10. All right, so this is gonna be a very intriguing stack. So this is a buddy of mine. So he's brand new, or he's kind of brand new to the hobby, and he came across a lot of cool cards, a lot of modern. I don't think he has any vintage or mid-era from here, but this is a card you don't see very often because it's, you know, tucked away, sealed in the ultra premium collection from Celebrations. I used to have one, but I sold it a long time ago actually. But yeah, we have the Charizard. You don't. I have to double check. I have to, honestly, I don't remember if PSA is still grading these, so I'm gonna have to double check to see if they are actually grading it. I don't see any flaws here, so I think, well, the top looks, I mean, yeah, the top looks a little thicker than the bottom, but I don't see any surface damage. The surface damage is the toughest part about this. On the bottom left, I don't know if it looks a little dark, but I don't think it's part of the card itself. It could be like the card saver. Yeah, the biggest issue with this is chipping. I mean, it is a gamble to open this up and grade this, but I mean, if this gets a 10, he's gonna hit huge. So I'm gonna do a bold prediction and say this gets a 10. The only thing that concerns me is this bottom left surface right here, but yeah, we'll see. I'm really excited to see what this gets. So of course he's gonna have the rest of the promos, so I'll just go over the Pikachu next. The Pikachu, yesterday I saw surface damage. Where did I see it? Yeah, so a little bit on the top. I'm not sure if you can see it. It's like right here. It's a lot easier to see in person. Well, it's not like obvious either, but I mean, yeah, so this one looks pretty clean on the back. Yeah, my only concern is this top. Yeah, let me see. You can see a little bit of that chip right there. So I think this is gonna get a lower grade. I'm not sure how they handle the lower grades. I'm gonna say a 6 because of that chipping there, but who knows? Maybe they have different standards for these gold cards, but it looks pretty clean otherwise. I'm hopeful it gets better than a 6, but I'm gonna say it's a 6. Okay, so let's go with the gold Pika. I feel like this card, tell me why. I haven't checked the price. It could be a lot right now, but I feel like this could be like a very expensive card in the future. I slept on it this whole time. I don't have one. Never owned one actually, but given the state of promos right now, and then it's an all gold cards. It's unique, and it's Pikachu has like a big stamp. I know people aren't the biggest fans of the stamp on the actual cards, but here it looks really good actually. Yeah, centering looks pretty good. I think my friend, he lucked out. I think the tiniest of specks here on the bottom left. Actually, let me center this a little bit better. Yeah, I'm gonna give this a 9, hopefully a 10, but we shall see. Let's see, Pokeball, the gold one. This is a pretty cool one. Let me get this spec on the top of the card saver. Centering looks good. And then it's got a little bit of whitening on the top right corner. I'm gonna give this a 9 as well. Okay, so I'm assuming these are pulls from his box. So this one's been popular lately. I really would love to have like a set where they have like, it's a reprint of the old school WotC sets, but in full art versions. Like that would be pretty cool if they had that. Like if they did that for the 30th anniversary, like expand on this, that would be awesome. But who knows? I haven't really seen a lot of people speculate on what they're gonna do for a 30th anniversary set. So I wonder if this was like the start, and they do stuff like that, that would be insane. That would break the hobby, in my opinion. Yeah, it's got some edge wear on the corners. This is gonna get no better than a 9. I'm gonna say a 9. Okay, we got the birthday Pika. Yeah, so birthday Pikachu's gone up a lot. I still have one. I think that's my last. I've sold a lot of my celebrations hits. I sold most of them last year, but I've sold some throughout the year. Of course, they go up after I sell them. So the reason why I was comfortable selling them is because let me just center this a little bit better. I really don't like the hollow pattern of the reprint cards. Like they're like the McDonald's foil pattern, and to me, like, it just looks like, I'm not hating on this cards per se, but like it just looks cheaper. Like, I don't know, I'm not a big fan of the confetti hollow, but beautiful card nonetheless. Centering is good. I think this has a chance at a 10, so hopefully this gets a 10. That'd be great. I think he has 2 more hits from his premium collection box. The Dark Gyarados centering is pretty good. No problems here. I think this should get a 10 as well. Okay, so let's go to the Reshiram. So it's pretty crazy. This one, the Zekram's gone up. The OG prints from Black and White, they've gone up significantly. Pretty crazy. It's funny how this hobby works. They get a announcement of this set dropping, and then all of a sudden people want these cards. It's funny. Centering, it's kind of hard to see because of the confetti foil over, but a little thicker on the top. I'm gonna be optimistic and give this a 10. Okay, Mew. I remember pulling this during a pre-release kit or pre-release weekend back in the day. A little thinner on the left, a little concerning there. Yeah, I'm gonna give this a 9 based on the centering. Beautiful card though. All right, we got the Charmeleon from 151. I remember pulling the Demigod pack around Christmas time 2023, but all 3 of the hits had freaking damage on the corners. I was so mad. That's what irks me about English, man. The print quality is so trash, and I hate pulling out PSA 9s and 10s fresh out the pack. Like, oh, it's so annoying. Centering is good, but the bottom is thin, but there's a little speck there. I'm gonna give this a 9. Okay, so Pikachu from 151 as well. Centering is better here, and it looks clean on the back. I'm gonna give this a 10. Hopefully get a 10, man. All right, we got the War Turtle from 151. Centering slightly thicker on the top, slightly thicker on the right. And we got a little bit of speck here on the top right. Other than that, it looks clean. This will get a PSA 9 in my opinion. All right, some more modern. We got Porygon Z. This is from Paradox Rift, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, this is a really cool card. I like the hat here. It's like a Porygon hat. That's pretty cool. Centering looks good. Little speck on the top right. This will get a 9. I think this will get a 9. But again, there's always that like margin of error. So like it's possible that these 9s that I'm saying could get a 10. But flip side, it could also be an 8. So we'll see. The Team Rocket's Wobbuffet. This is from the ETB. Really cool artwork here. Centering looks good. A little thicker on the top in my opinion. The back looks pretty clean for an ETB promo. Tiny speck, but I would lean more towards a 9, but it's possible this could get a 10. So I'll say a 9. All right, Poliwhirl from 151. Centering is actually really good. And then the back looks pretty good too. Again, tiniest of tiniest specks on the corners. Not sure about this black little dot here. I'm not sure if it's part of the sleeve or the card saver. If it's not on the card, I think this has a chance at a 10, but I'll take a closer inspection of it a little later. I'm gonna go with a 10 for now. Okay, some Destin Rivals. We got Team Rocket's Murkrow. I think it's with Ariana. I remember, I'm playing Pokemon Silver on the emulator right now, and I think I just finished beating Ariana. I think she has Murkrow in one of the battles. So, get wrecked, Murkrow. Centering is good. Yeah, it looks like it's not going to get wrecked by PSA, I don't think. I think this is going to get a 10. All right, so we got the Rotom. And I watched some of like Pokemon lore videos on YouTube. They're pretty good. There's a lot of good content creators. I remember watching one video in particular. They're making a pretty compelling case that like Shuppet is related to Rotom, and I'll let you guys like search that up, but it made sense to me. I was like, wow, that would be a pretty cool connection there. Centering looks pretty good on the front. On the back, we got a white speck. I'm gonna say this is a 9. Okay. Ooh, speaking of stamp sets, we got the not the pre-release. This is the box topper for the Journey Together booster box. I'm gonna imagine that there's not a ton of 10s of these because it's hanging around loose in the booster box. I think centering is good. Wow, this might have a chance at a 10. Don't really see any whitening. Yeah, I'm gonna say a 10. Okay, so Eevee EX. I gotta fix these. Alright, so we have the Eevee EX promo. This is from the premium collection. I have this one in Japanese. Beautiful nevertheless. Let me see the centering real quick before I turn it around. Centering looks good. I think they're doing a better job with centering on promos. I think, yeah, all the promos I've seen from this submission so far, centering hasn't been an issue for promos. This might be a 10. Yeah, I think he might get a 10 here. Okay, so then 2 more cards from this person, or this friend's stack. We have the Goldango EX from Paradox Rift. This is a really cool card. Pokemon number 1000, which is pretty cool. So definitely thicker on top. Yeah, and then the centering is a little bit more shifted to a thicker left than the right. I'm gonna say this is a 9. And then here we go. We have Team Rocket's Giovanni back to Destin Rivals. This set is so stacked, man. This is such a good set. I think this set is gonna do amazing long term, but man, I can't justify buying booster box for $280, which is crazy, especially it's still in the print cycle, still in the competitive scene. Like, it barely just got started, so I feel like this is going to get reprinted at some point. There's just no way Pokemon will leave money on the table. Yeah, so here we go. Centering a little thinner on top. The back looks pretty good, but I'm gonna be a little bit cautious here and give this a 9. All right, so we have one more little stack left. This is back to my friend Guillermo, his stack with the Mew and the Dragonites and Mewtwo. And so this will be added to his stack. So he's gonna go ahead and try to grade the Crown Zenith ETB promo. I wonder how much better this would have looked with like the Crown Zenith stamp. I'm not sure. Yeah, because it's like a close-up. Wonder if it would still look cool. I think so. So the centering, probably a little thicker on top after examining it. No other flaws. I'm going to be optimistic and say 10. So let's give this a 10. Okay, we got the Eevee from Twilight Masquerade. Beautiful card. And I am impressed by the center in the front. There's like a white speck on the top right. I'm gonna give this a 9. PSA 9 for me. We have this Pikachu, I think it's the only technical secret rare from the set. Obviously the chase cards, more of the chase cards are in the Galarian gallery. But I remember I pulled 2 from the same Reggie Lecky box. Those, you know, those 4 packs with the Reggie Lecky, and then there's a Reggie Drago box. I remember I bought 2, or actually 1 of each, and I pulled 2 of these from the same box, which was insane. I wish I would have recorded it. Centering looks a little bit thinner on the left, and nothing really going on in the corners. I think the centering though is going to give this a 9. Suicune, beautiful card. I feel like if they made this harder to pull, this would be a lot more valuable, but I mean, it'll get there. The legendary beast from that set, phenomenal cards. And the centering looks good. I'm gonna give this a 10. I think this is 10 worthy. This is another derpy card, but I love derpy cards. Got Psyduck, everyone's favorite derp. He's like running down the stairs, probably stressed, having a full-on anxiety attack. But centering, a little bit thicker on the right, I think. And then on the back, I don't see any flaws there. I think with centering, it's a little bit better than the other card that I felt like would get a 9 because of centering. I'm gonna give this a 10. Okay, we got another illustration rare. We got the Baxcalibur, and centering actually looks pretty good. A little thinner on the bottom, actually. This is such a trippy card. Yeah, centering looks thicker on the top. Yeah, it's definitely top heavy on both sides. I'm gonna give this a 9. And the Darkrai EX from Hidden Fates. Centering looks pretty good. Gorgeous card. I'm gonna give this a 10. Let's do Darkrai at 10. And the last card of the submission, we have the Chansey. Like I said, I love when Pokemon just throws in other Pokemon in the background. We got Ditto on the bottom. We got Psyduck. Probably doesn't even know why it's in there. We have Bellsprout, Blissey behind the counter, and we got our favorite Sleepy Boy in the corner, Snorlax. And then Chansey's they're probably understaffed at the Pokemon Center. They're probably getting wrecked in the Pokemon League or something. And Chansey is running like a chicken without its head. Yeah. So centering looks good all around in my opinion. I have no qualms about anything on the back. I'm gonna give this a PSA 10. So there you have it, guys. It's a longer video, almost 40 minutes. So if you watched all of this, kudos to you. I really appreciate it. Yeah. So this might be the last submission I sent for a while. I just have to rebuild my raw collection. I just need to get back into buying more raw singles, because I've been like heavily focused on just adding to the PC with graded cards and all that. But these are my favorite types of videos to go over, just to go over my submissions. I probably will end up doing another video like this because friends want to send to PSA, and you know, I gotta make use of my my membership there. I love the promos in the magazines, but I gotta make more use of my membership. So, but I don't mind. I always love helping out my friends. But yeah. So if you see any cards you like, when they come back, maybe hit me up. I can ask on their behalf if you're interested in buying some or whatever, trading. We can meet up at a card show or something. Yeah, just let me know. So if you guys like the content, please like and subscribe, and I will catch you guys on the next one. Peace.